afternoon, Pete. How you doing?
Wonderful. What's on our plates today?
Oh, Pete, there's always a lot on our plate. I'm most unhappy today, and I guess my mother always told me you get a lot more with honey than you do with vinegar. So given that in my role, and I sit in the opposition, you try to move things for your area. You meet with the ministers, you write letters, you try and keep it forefront. But then there's only so long, Pete, and you can't stay quiet. You have to be a voice for your district, and you have to bring it out in the open and let people know exactly what's going on. And there's a couple of things I want to talk about today. Mm-hmm. One is the capital works money with municipalities. I think it's $98 million out of this budget that's been spent already for capital works, and Cartwright-L'Anse Clair have got $205,000 of that $98 million. You heard my colleague Eddie Joyce on a while ago talking about the small amount that have come to Liberal districts. I think where it runs now is around $98 million, and maybe less than $5 million have come to Liberal districts.
Back then it was 77 versus 1.1, I think.
And it's moved now about 98, and it amazes me every day when I see the press releases coming out, and it's millions going into areas. As soon as you know a by-election is going to be called in an area, they start paying it off. Pete, that becomes then where you are no longer a government, you are a political party that's out there trying to buy seats. And I think that's what's happened here. They've gone so low that they're using taxpayers' money to do this. And you can tell I'm extremely frustrated. Last year, we did not have a member in Cartwright-L'Anse Clair for 3 months. So during that period, we missed a boat on capital works money. I think one project got an extra $20,000 that was ongoing. Another one got $45,000. $65,000 last year. $205,000 this year. Communities not even with a basic clean drinking water, and I'm looking at them funding things like municipal software. Yes, it's all needed, but come on, we have to get our priorities straight. Fire and emergency services. That budget increased from $1.5 million, I think it was last year. This year they came out with $4 million. Mm-hmm. There's $4.5 million, and of the $4.5 million, there's over $3 million already allocated. Cartwright-L'Anse Clair, what did they get? Not a copper, Pete. Fire and safety. Every town is entitled to fire and safety. Are the lives of the NDP and the Liberals, we're at risk too? Are we not valued?
Depends on who you ask. But listen, I agree with you.
Misuse of power. And, Pete, we've got big issues in our rural communities where you've got shrinking tax base, you've got out-migration, aging infrastructure. It's not easy to be a councillor in our small towns, and the government should be out supporting those councillors. And the councillors don't know now what to do. We're coming up for a deadline again with municipal capital works money. Deadline to apply is in the fall. Some of them that had applications in for road work was told, well, you've been denied because our priority is water and sewer. Mm-hmm. The ones that had applications in for water and sewer, they were turned down. So these people are now saying to me, Lisa, we don't know if we take the same application and we submit it again this year. We've submitted it 3-4 years in a row. We've secured our money at the bank. We're not moving anywhere. And it is extremely frustrating.
No doubt. And listen, I hear you, and I think it's reprehensible. You would expect the majority of the money, because, of course, the majority of the seats and the majority of the population are in conservative districts. So even if you're doing it exactly by the book, they would end up with more, but not to this extent. Of course, what they can say legitimately, unfortunately, is that this has never been any different, even under Liberal governments. We've seen this kind of practice between elections, close to elections. Generally speaking, you're going to get unfair balance of spending in the ridings that belong to the party in power.
Couple of things I want to make. Fair comment.
Doesn't make it right, but that's the way it's been, right?
Things I want to say.
Okay.
We're moving into election mode now, but I'm telling you what happened a year ago. Mm-hmm. When we were halfway through, we missed the boat completely. We got nothing. What I want to say is I have sat at the table for a year and a half now with Dwight Ball. What I have seen in Dwight is I believe there will be a ranking system put in place and monies will be allocated fairly.
Here. I hope that's true.
I don't know how I'll be able to stay if it's any different. I got people in my district that are dying in their homes that we're trying to get help for. And this PC convention that's coming up this weekend, if there's a Labradorian that's going to be at that PC convention, I would be ashamed to say that their address is Labrador, given, I mean, Pete, when I'm in St. John's, when I'm in the Confederation Building, over the last year, I see things through somewhat of a different lens. I see where the tens of thousands of people reside. I see that there's need in that area. I see places on the island that have bad cell phone coverage. I see some places that, yes, they have their health care issues. I see some places that have bad roads. I come to my district and I see all of it bad, all of it. We have a road that is the main artery that goes right through Labrador. Yes, the pavement's coming, albeit very, very slow, and it's not fit to drive on. We are so far behind. People here feel so defeated, Pete, because it's been years, generations of neglect. So we've got a long way to go to catch up. There's no doubt about that.
How are they doing over in Nick McGraw's district?
Oh, I hear from lots of them, too, when they need help. But,
but are they doing any better in terms of the expenditures over there? Are they getting projects done and stuff funded?
Yes, they got new pavement going through there. I believe they got 15 kilometres of new pavement just recently looked up. And
so those might be the Labradorians at the convention.
Pardon me?
Those might be the Labradorians showing up at the convention this weekend.
They might be the Labradorians showing up at the convention. And Pete, I will try to work. I've spent my whole adult life working to resolve problems, problem solve. I'll sit at the table. I've done that. I've wrote the letters. It's only so long you can do that. And then you got to speak out this way and see if people will listen or if you can get the message across. If I'm wrong that we are being completely forgotten and we're getting nothing, it's total neglect, come on the airwaves and prove me wrong and give us some money or show where the money is spent, because I'm not seeing it.
No, I think you voicing your frustrations is dead. That's dead on. But I am putting up on the wall right here, right now, a piece of paper to check and see exactly what the situation is. If and when the Liberals form the government and near the end of the term, I'm going to see what's going on in terms of expenditures per district going by the parties.
Call me out
I will.
And tell me to come on the line with you, Pete. Come on the line.
Okay.
We'd have to do an awful lot of injustice before we could match what's been done with this Tory government over the last decade.
No, I'm not going to call you just for matching it. I'm going to, if you're even going down that path, I'm going to say, remember when.
Pete, let's end on this note. When the Liberals were in government the last time, I think we had a budget we were working with provincially of about $4 billion. We're up to $9 billion. And we're still fighting and scratching here. I mean, we've never asked for more than, but we've asked to be equal, and we are so far from that. We got a long way to go. And I hope, I would like to encourage community leaders and stuff to speak out and voice their concerns and their frustrations the same as I'm doing today.
All right, Lisa Dempster, thanks very much for this. We'll talk to you again soon.
I thank you for your time, Pete. You have a good evening.
You too. Bye-bye.